Today I will be issuing an executive order to put this very plan into effect immediately. I am hereby ordering every department and agency in the federal government to provide the Department of Commerce with all requested records regarding the number of citizens and non-citizens in our country. They must furnish all legally accessible records in their possession immediately. As a result of today's executive order, we will be able to ensure the 2020 census generates an accurate count of how many citizens, non-citizens, and illegal aliens are in the United States of America. Not too much to ask.
And with that, President Trump reminded us we not only elected a commander-in-chief, we elected a boss. Good afternoon, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. Welcome to the Friday edition here on YouTube. President Trump, by executive order, basically said to the United States Supreme Court, the liberals, and of course, the now completely lost their minds over this issue, lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream propaganda media, don't care what you think, don't care what you say, we're going to know how many people are supposed to be here and who's not supposed to be here. Now immediately, CNN went into its collective meltdown mode. In fact, Dana Bash over there lamenting that obviously this is the dog whistle to the white racists and supremacists in this country, and this is what they want to hear, and Trump wants this as an election cycle issue, etc., etc., etc. Let me just say, because guys like Rush Limbaugh and the rest of conservative media have tried to explain, no, that's not what Trump was doing. Let me play devil's advocate for a moment, and let me just say, what if Trump did do that? Does not the left in every major election, in every minor election, constantly ad nauseum play identity politics? Trying to make you feel guilty for voting the way you do, or not voting for one of them, or fill in the blank. Whether you're homophobic, racist, a bigot, not open-minded enough, not broad-minded enough. And so basically Trump is saying, hey, who could possibly in this country be against a question that simply asks, are you a citizen or not? What's the big deal? And the fact that it is a big deal with the left, the fact that it is a big deal with the media, ought to tell you everything that you need to know about this issue. Even if you think President Trump and ICE and the crisis on our southern border is just something that is, quote, made up, it's not real, why is there such a venomous backlash from the vermin left and the progressive ilk in this country over simply asking someone, are you a citizen or not? Why, if we're taking a census, which is used to determine our population, which one of the things that it determines then is how big is the House of Representatives going to be, and does there need to be redistricting when it comes to our elections and representation in the government? Wouldn't it stand to reason you would want an actual, accurate count? So why don't the Democrats, why don't the liberals want there to be an actual, legitimate, authorized, accurate count? Could it be they understand that if the American citizen, whether they be conservative or even left-leaning, whether they be Democrat or Republican, if they actually grasp how many illegal, and I'm not going to use the word undocumented, illegal citizens are here, and they are gleaning off of our system, they are being provided with health benefits, education, all types of giveaways and freebies, and even when there's a, quote, natural disaster, if they live in a place like a Florida where there's a hurricane, or they live in California where there could be an earthquake, or they live somewhere where there's been tornado damage, fill in the blank. They are encouraged by FEMA and by other federal agencies. Come forward. If your house or your illegal shack was somehow damaged, we'll pay for it, and we won't turn you in. We won't deport you. If the average American, the taxpayer, those of us who actually pay the bills, if the average American, whether they be Democrat or Republican, knew how many illegals they are paying for, not just for the freebies and the giveaways, but paying for their incarceration, paying for their prosecution, paying for their care, their well-being, they know. The Democrats, the liberals, the media knows there would be an uprising in this country. A demand that something truly be done at the border. That something really be done to really fix the immigration mess. These people coming here, squatting on our border for a few weeks, and then we have to release them into our communities, into our population with this, now y'all come back in 6 months for your court hearing, knowing full well we're never going to see Javier and the kid that's with him, whether it's really his child or a kid he picked up along the way. Is that a little too rough? Too much truth? To not want that question. You can't ask that question. That's tantamount to, that's un-American. No. It's the epitome of America. How can we help you if we don't know who you are and what your status is? The president, with a master stroke, took this out of the hands of even the Supreme Court. It will now be interesting to see what the Democrats are going to do. And I have another little theory here. I know full well that the Supreme Court, though they struck down the wording of the president's question, they did not strike down, and this is not being explained in the lying legacy corporate corrupt propaganda media, they did not struck down the asking of that question, but rather the framework in which the question was posed. That's key. That's important. So the president is within his right as the commander-in-chief, as the chief executive officer of the land. He's within his purview to want to know who's here legally, who ought to get a right to vote, who gets a right to really the benefits of living here. And it ought to be for those who are here legally. Duh. But did the president's people, did they word it in such a way, knowing the Supreme Court would throw it back, knowing that liberals would go into full-blown party mode, that, yeah, that's it, the census can't ask that question, so that Trump could walk into the Rose Garden with the Attorney General, Bob Barr, and say, not so fast. We are going to ask that question. You're going to see more of this now. The president is drawing some very clear lines, because that clown show over on the left, that libloon fest, where they're all raising their hands that they'll give free health care to illegal aliens. They want to give free housing now to paroled federal prisoners. Isn't that nice? You can pay for that too. The president is drawing clear lines in the sand now. Ronald Reagan once said, don't run in pale pastel colors. Run in bold color so people know where you stand. President Trump is running very bold. He is painting a drastic difference between his ideology and the ideology of the left. And the question you have to ask is, where do you line up? Because I'm telling you, this is a winning issue, even among Democrats. Even if you believe that, well, we got room in this country for more, you want them here legally, you want to know who they are, you want them properly vetted, and I know for a fact you don't want to pay for everything for them for the rest of their lives, because you get to a point even with your own kids that when they turn 18 or 19 years old, you're looking at them like, get a stinking job. Congratulations, Mr. President. Thank you for standing up and speaking up for us, the American citizens who actually live here, play by the rules, and pay the bills. And thank you for showing us very clearly that the 20-plus individuals on the left are anti-American, un-American, and not the party of the people, the enemy of the people, with their talking mouthpiece, the lying, legacy, corporate, corrupt, mainstream media. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, smack the bell so that you get notification of my next rant, and please subscribe to the channel.